Yes, I mean, you've nickel and dimed your way back into some positive footing here. Down smash. Oh, right to the back air. Oh! Wait, who just did it to who? And Hart with the pop ball.
Wait, what?
How?
Going into 2026, if you listen to the casual chatter online, you'd think professional Smash was on its way out. Fewer events, fewer stars, and the old gods supposedly washed, fading into history. But Let's Make Big Moves 2026 didn't push back against that idea. It set the entire scene on fire. World controversies, bracket chaos, legends fighting for relevance, and a new generation trying to bury them for good. Because this tournament isn't just about who wins, it's about who still belongs at the top of Smash Ultimate. Are we watching the final stand of Smash's old gods? Or the moment they remind everyone why they were feared in the first place?
And the snipe!
Y'all remember when one of the main tournament organizers initially announced there would be no crafting allowed at Let's Make Big Moves? This was a sneaky way of trying to nerf Steve, preventing him from crafting any tools and thus discouraging any player from using Steve in bracket. Or sort of ban without having to actually ban, you know? Well, somehow Nintendo caught wind of this, resulting in the crafting rule being abolished. At full power, 10 different Steve mains made it out to Championship Sunday. Well, folks, a blizzard descended onto the land, stranding pretty much every Steve main, forcing them to DQ from bracket.
One iron, he immediately pops it, but beast!
Cosmic karma. It was simply meant to be. And just like that, a meta many feared vanished overnight. Rest in peace to Buzz. That did unfortunately drop LBM from being a premier tournament down to an S tier, I think. But hey, the audience still had their thrills.
Part DIing in on that up tilt, make it a little more difficult.
Yeah, super close.
Oh, good catches here.
Oh no.
Never mind.
Oh, that's Luigi, baby.
We kick things off with our Let's Make Big Moves multi-champion, Tweek. Tweek's return to competition hasn't been gentle as he runs headfirst into Hurt, the 4th best player in the world, and one of the most disciplined Snake players Smash has ever seen. Snake is a character Tweek himself has called immoral, and tonight, morality takes a backseat. Perhaps a passionate hatred for Snake and being stonewalled against the world's best explosive expert is not for the faint of heart. The Sephiroth and Diddy Kong pick brings flashes of brilliance, but every opening is shut down by frame-perfect explosives. Tweek fights valiantly, but Hurt never loses control.
Another Nikita missile gonna push him off one more time. The final one is the nail in the coffin.
As expected, a clean advance to top 8 winner's side. If your fundamentals aren't airtight, Louis Money will dismantle you piece by piece. We've covered this Palutena prodigy before, but calling him a prodigy almost feels disrespectful. This isn't raw talent. This is years of refinement. The king of NorCal, the West Coast squad constant. And in 2026, the question isn't can he hang with the best? It's how many of them he's going to take down first. Second place finishes at Afterburner and the Varus Summit, a recent invitational days earlier. Louis Money has slayed names like Hurt, Peabnut, Zomba, Mia, Carmelo, Apollo Kage, and Cola. These aren't upsets anymore. This is a pattern. A multi-doubles champion, an obvious beast on the sticks. However, Louis Money has always been that one guy who you quietly had your doubts. How many other pros touch the gates of Valhalla, but you know deep down you don't expect them to truly box with the gods? Does he have what it takes to fight with the big dogs on the scene? Will 2026 be Louis Money's year?
On the warp, can't find it. Spargo, we are just jumping and double jumping like crazy, waiting for a reaction to come out of Leo. Just the jab, waiting for a defensive reaction from Leo. Doesn't give it to him, gets ahead by a dash attack. We are still alive.
It is down to the wire here. Plenty of time on the clock. The two of them butted heads, running into each other, both so afraid to press buttons, and the Crow is not going to kill.
166 right now here on Louis, just holding on that shield on the platform. MKLeo has not enough energy in them to be able to...
Louis Money has a banger of a set against MKLeo, but when it comes to Smash Ultimate's original god, the gap in strength is clear. Leo cinches it out. Down in losers, Louis Money adds more top players to his ever-growing resume. Tarek loses a close game 5, while Kando is essentially shut out, earning Louis Money a third top 8 in as many majors. Side note for Kando, they dismantled dismantled the best Rob main Zomba, causing a massive upset. Canada rode that momentum to winners quarters where they lost to Peabnut and now placed 9th at LMBM. Talk about a crazy run.
Such good awareness. I felt like that was definitely like a down smash. They're going on, but hold on, still Candle.
And in case you were wondering, if Louis Money took the stock here in Game 4, he would have defeated Leo in winners.
Oh no!
What a good guy. Another GOAT's return to Smash may be spoiled. Spargo, after a long hiatus, was ranked 5th best in the world. I imagine it was 4 places too low for our cloud deity. Coming up short in the aforementioned VARS Summit, Spargo's looking to shake off the rust from his absence. However, the competition never stops climbing, and any perceived gap in skill will have the young cloud specialist sweating. Winners quarters should be routine for a top 5 player, but Elijah, likely the best stroke main in North America, doesn't play scared. Game 5. Every opening contested, every mistake punished, and suddenly Spargo falls. The Cloud God sent to losers, while an old narrative creeps back into the room. Is Spargo the easiest top player to bleed? This isn't a loser's run, this is survival. Having to scratch and claw his way to top 16, Spargo eliminates Skinny the Pooh, Wrath, and Smub the Really, who had an incredible run at this event. Seriously, almost making it to top 16 winners and taking Spargo to Game 5. If you get a moment, do yourself a favor and check out some of Smub's sets. If Spargo wants top 8 and a shot at his loser's run to be doused in greatness, he'll need to sharpen his wits now. Apollo Kage has done his homework, studying Hurt, studying the matchup, studying how champions break. Game 5. One opening will blow this entire bracket wide open. Finishing touch. Spargo lives and the run continues. With that, Spargo's now destined to face Tweek. What could easily be grand finals at any major, one of these comeback stories will end prematurely. 2 faces of Smash do battle, with the loser's legacy being washed away. One defined by control, the other by fury.
Massive happened there. And the up smash whipping.
Wow.
Oh my god, the parry!
Everything went wrong for Tweek there at the ledge. First he gets
Timing indeed, finds himself on the ledge. But there, you know, ain't gonna find hits mark at all. Tweek's gonna be able to go past and find that up
might have been able to yoink a stock away, but instead it started because instead Tweek the one to reverse the situation.
I love everything about that there. Even the down air from Spargo, knowing that he was gonna go for the air dodge. It's
No way if that was, you know, a little bit questionable DI from Tweek, but at the end of the day, what man?
What?
Spargo's starting to get down and out. He's just like, oh yeah, I got another gear. Oh yeah, I got another. This is like a oh my off at kill percent, but Tweek's starting to creep towards the same, and Spargo using
grab ledge and get that invincibility. He knew he was safe.
Oh my god!
Bro, 80%! I said 2 sentences!
Let him breathe, Spargo. Tweek will not be in LM. Beat out the cloud back air there, but Tweek just started it at the right time, and hang on. Tweek starting to say something.
Definitely.
Spargo, though, interrupts him. How rude.
Very rude. I mean, he's been rude the entire time.
Ah! 2 in a row!
Try as he might, once Spargo's rage takes over, it's lights out for Tweek. Spargo enters top 8 loser's side. Awaiting him is the king of NorCal himself, looking to add a god to his hit list. If you want to be considered amongst the best, Louis Money is going to have to take out Spargo.
To catch Louis jumping out of the corner and eventually...
Maybe something's changed in the gears, who knows though?
Good movement out of the corner though. Oh.
Yeah, your rise this month's been cute, but there are levels to this kid. A 3-0 shutout. With relentless pressure, Spargo advances as he's determined to make this loser's run live in infamy. Speaking of GOATs, has former DeLeo showed up in 2026? With a well-timed blizzard impending one of his worst character matchups, Leo breezes through the competition. After sending Louis Money to losers in winner's quarters, Leo faces his former teammate, Sonix. The two friends have traded many sets throughout the years, with almost every single one of them going to Game 5. I don't think there's quite the clear edge with these two, as no leads are safe.
Take it, oh my god! A good tech from Leo to get back up onto the stage now. He's in the last hit. No way! Neither one of them die. They're both gonna get another chance at this. Sonix, though, is the one who sets himself up better first. Off guard with it and able to go down to that right side PS2 platform. That's gonna be a footstool.
Ooh, went a bit too far off stage, but still both. They'll probably make it back. Spot dodge after spot dodge.
Anchor for Sonix throughout this set has been his ability to keep Leo juggled in disadvantage. First stock out from Sonix.
I think this is where you might want to switch back to Mithra, you know?
Well,
oh my god.
No, not from center stage. No, even at 187 with almost full rage. But it's finally a landing nair from Leo that closes out the stock. He's got 134 on him. He, like you said, has no more margin for error. This edge guard could be everything.
In the end, Sonix had just a bit more in the tank and sends Leo to losers bracket. But losers is where Leo thrives. Leo doesn't need momentum. Momentum needs Leo. Hyper Kirby, Monty. Incredible runs, unfortunate paths. Monty earns his first Super Major to top 8, but Leo couldn't have asked for a better top 8 opponent. The GOAT cut the celebration short. A swift 3-1 eliminates the SoCal native from bracket, with both Leo and Spargo advancing. Anyone else getting the vibes of the old Smash Up gods returning? For Spargo, this is about reclaiming his future. For Leo, this is about refusing to be left in the past.
Does Monty. It's their chance, 100% down. Not down and out just yet, though.
And that right there is why Leo historically has not gone off stage. He wants to finish his food center plate.
Let's round out the rest of the top 8 combatants. Princess Peach was supercharged in her turnip trains and punishing power. MuteAce enters the scene with a fresh mindset, hands steady, and nerves chilled, so no mom's spaghetti. Okay, I'll stop there. But in all sincerity, MuteAce is cleaning house, disposing Wrath in the Sonic Peach matchup, and taking full advantage of Spargo's early loss. MuteAce clears his way through Aloe to top 8 winner's side. Syrup was one of the top seeded Steves that was forced to DQ, so perhaps MuteAce's top 8 was a bit of lady luck favoring this princess. With the stage set, MuteAce faces against Sonix. These two have quite the ridiculous matchup history. They trade sets in predictable fashion. MuteAce typically beats Sonix in winner's side, while Sonix returns to eliminate MuteAce from the competition. But with stakes this high, Sonix is going to want to change this fate.
Good fight back from Mute to make sure. Hey.
Another bomb! Catching him with the Tims. Another early combo from Sonix. And going deep with that homing attack. And it is going to take the stock.
With the ledge. Oh, the turnip snipe. That's what on air dodge, and yep.
Do it back here, not gonna kill.
So interesting to go for. Oh, the forward smash. The golf swing. Not a hole in one though. Has to keep working. Maybe a Loki this time. There's the nair. Sonic still working though. Has to try to get the landing. And just
beat the spin dash there.
Honestly, if he takes a stock now, the set is definitely not over, but have to be careful.
With every percent, it gets that much harder. Sonic's going so deep, trying to close it out here. Can you find the kill? Yes, he can with the drop zone bear. And
a reverse 3-0. Sonix advances to winner's semis. Sonix has already won his first major this year at VAR Summit. This is a brand new Sonix. Curses no longer apply. Sonix now awaits one of these final 2 competitors. Hurt is the sole Japan representative determined to keep his countrymen's stranglehold on the competition. Hurt has only 1 game loss thus far all weekend long. However, his opponent has done one better than him. Peabnut has gone through this tournament flawless. No games dropped. The Blue Bomber is methodical in everything he does. Even in bad matchups, check out these mind games.
Up the metal blade to combo into the back air right after the fact. Beautifully played from Peabnut, all calculated. See him grab the metal blades, throw out the shield, knows exactly what he's looking for. Monty gets baited to drop the shield from the multi-hit, and then the confirm is there. Peabnut just so methodical.
Willing to camp, willing to go for timeouts, and well studied. Peabnut takes the first game.
Pops it with the shield. Smart from Peab. Going high again. And somehow Peab is the one that dies in that interaction.
Explosion, get off me. And now we're back into the up air pressure.
God.
Oh no, he jumped! Hurt does have him in the corner. We've seen him get some early kills in this situation.
But surely Hurt is wiggling his way back in. The forward air spike. Into the up air. That could have killed. That second up air definitely would have though.
He is most certainly whittling his way back in. But every time that forward air comes out in those situations, it gets closer, but Hurt
answers right back, handing Peabnut his first loss of the weekend. Hurt locks in. This tournament belongs to him.
Oh, okay, good trade. Again, forgetting about the C4 there.
Somehow brought it all the way back.
Yeah, he got away with that one. I thought for sure that the hit would...
Yeah, tilt 2 for now.
Oh,
the pizza and going up.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad for Hurt.
How do you land safely?
He
landed. Run up shield now, but the forward
every time they go in, just like this.
Still in the process.
Now Peab has to hold forward. He has no other options. 20 seconds to get 47%. I don't know if he can do it. That's the opening. That's the start. Oh, but the jab out. He just abares himself back into this, and it is over. That one interaction was enough to do it.
The snake back here, but somehow Peab lives, and it's going down to time. And unfortunately, Hurt is that one. Just has to hold shield.
Hurt sends Peabnut to losers. Now, our main event. These two players are amongst the closest you can get to consistent skill. Number 4 and 6 in the world, Hurt versus Sonix, winners finals. These two strap in as the Blue Hedgehog tries to maneuver around the grenade obstacle course.
Knocking on death's door is Sonic the Hedgehog. No answer just yet, but somebody's definitely home.
No.
In position, which I think is more important than any.
Just like that, it's even, Rod. The collateral damage has just come through over and over again. Half a stage away and pick up a grab for it. As long as there's not one in front of Hurt protecting him, that's going to be a really good way to infiltrate his space.
Yeah.
A ridiculous comeback on Hurt's part.
It's getting crazy. Yes, I mean, you've nickel and dimed your way back into some positive footing here. Down smash. Oh, right to the back air. Oh! Wait, who just did it to who? And Hurt with the pop ball.
Wait, what?
How?
He won?
That finish was insane. Hurt was in Sonix's head the entire set. 4 steps ahead for that explosive trap. Hurt carries Japan on his back as he sits in grand final. MuteAce is looking for redemption to prove he belongs here in top 8. However, Spargo has returned to competition for one reason and one reason only: to reclaim his best in the world status. Unfortunately, this isn't a MuteAce versus Spargo set. This is a MuteAce standing in Spargo's path on his way to glory. The difference between gods and men. This was an easy 3-0. The way things are going, maybe the only person who could stop Spargo's incredible momentum could be the former GOAT himself, Leo. That is, if Leo even gets the chance. Leo has to defeat the rising star Peabnut. Poetic, as Leo's own star has been fading through the years. The Aegis Game 1 match was trounced.
The best trade, only got 17%, but an immediate up tilt.
Metal blade.
Oh, smart. With the backhand too. Yo, this guy's nice.
That was nice. There were like 3 situations in a row there where he,
Oh my god.
The Joker Game 2 match was embarrassed.
his last stock goes so...
But if Leo is planning to return from the brink of obscurity, then he might as well return with a key component of his character lineup, Byleth. It's not about tier lists anymore. It's about identity. And for one brief moment, the true essence of Leo's inner being returns. Tier list be damned. If Mega Man can do it, then so can MKLeo! Oh, a 3-0? Oh, brother. You gotta go back to the drawing board, because I got to say, in all honesty, that was an ass whooping. Sorry, GOAT. Our remaining fighters, Peabnut, Spargo, Sonix, and Hurt. One of these is not like the other. 3 out of 4 are legends cemented in history. The fourth plays Mega Man. It's one thing to defeat MKLeo in a modern meta that no longer bends to him. But the rest of our competitors are literally in the top 6 ranked in the world. And Mega Man, though dangerous, is not even considered a top-tier threat amongst many. So why is it that Spargo is sweating?
Interact with them. So that's going to be huge for Spargo in terms of finding kills or at least building some damage with it. Wow, he clipped him!
Backer on shield, -3.
Oh, no!
I don't know if you're going to play a character like Mega Man at this level.
Especially if you played Smash 4, right? The character has not changed.
Of course, you can't even empty jump for free around Mega Man because he has that ability just to go for the lemon, just to keep you at bay, nothing off the down air, but gets the ups. I guess the lack thereof. I'm physically not going to deal with Leaf Shield. I'm going to let my blade do. Okay, nice. Okay, big damage, damage, if you will. Up air through the platform. You ain't landing for free. Oh, great parry! Oh! And then gets the up tilt to close it out.
This cannot be. Spargo has been eliminated. The Cloud God falls, not to chaos, but to precision. All eyes are on Peabnut, 2 former gods defeated. Will he add a third? While Leo and Spargo can have wild momentum shifts from a variety of tournaments, Sonix is consistency personified. An astounding record of second-place finishes at almost every single major he attended for years. And this he deemed as a curse. A curse because Sonix was hungry for first. A hunger he satisfied at Bar's Summit.
Here, of course, Mega Man has to take the first stock off Peab. Way less for that Shoryu. 3 empty hops in a row, goes into the corner, and then Sonix slips in with the jab, knocks him off. Oh, the crash bomb almost, that could have come on its back air. And
it could have, it should have, and it would have. But damn it, it didn't.
Oh my God.
Dodge. It was a damn if you do, and of course, not bad either. Down smash, I ain't seen that since 3DS. Hold up.
Yo, remember that move, bro? God, 50 damage for no reason. Oh, can he do it? Yes, he can.
4 or 5 frame forward air. Both sides just trying to find some footing here. Nice, gets the lemons off the stage, down throw.
Oh, again!
And of course, down here to seal the deal.
Oh no, he's dead!
And perhaps that is why at Losers Finals,
for Mega Man. Oh!
Peabnut was able to pick through Sonix's bones. Grand Finals, a rematch, and one no one ever expected. Hurt, Snake, Peabnut, Mega Man. Does he have what it takes to vanquish one final god? Or will Hurt exemplify why Japan dominates the entire Smash Ultimate competitive scene?
Now, even something as simple as a down throw into something could be enough to get it done.
Oh my God!
No, not like this.
Oh wait,
you gotta be kidding.
Okay.
Camera kind of messed me up a little bit. Okay, gets the hard knockback right there on the left. And making it as sour as ever. And of course, you know, Hurt on the defense is an absolute monster of a different kind. Oh!
And look at this. The percents basically even. Next good hit wins for either of them. And oh my God, Mega Man, the weight coming into play, and it's no.
Oh my God, yes, I'm talking tackle.
Oh,
close now. I can't keep playing the long game. Whoa,
wait,
that's a thing?
Maybe if it hits the Cypher, it stays active for a crazy long time or something like that. I think Peabnut did do that with purpose, but obviously it didn't come into play. The lockdown from the jab into the up smash.
Jab's really good. There's forward throw. Nikita one more time. Great situational awareness right there on Peabnut to go for the fair through it. Oh,
dude,
put it up.
Yeah, the forward smash from Mega Man kept him in the game on this first stock.
Okay, no crash bomb. I'm loving what I'm seeing right here. Peabnut knows how to approach safely. Stock taking, knows how to put on some percent. Hold up. Okay, down there.
Oh, loving those jumps to keep him blocked in it. Oh, and the spot dodge!
The difference is, though, he lets you swing first, and then he answers back. When 2 people like this are fighting for their lives. 178%. This stock is well past its prime. Oh my God, there's the parry.
The fact that Peabnut is staying so patient. When the odds are against him like this, the grenade blows up, but you know what he wanted off that double spot dodge. There's only one thing on this guy's mind, and it's the one move that'll take the stock right now.
It most certainly will. Of course, Hurt has a plethora of options to get his stock taken, and sometimes you only got to press a button to do damage on stage, but they're trying to play the off-stage game every time. You know, oh my goodness!
There's an old tale of a man who flew too close to the sun, only to burn. Preparation and courage carried him further than anyone believed. Today, Peabnut is Icarus, and Hurt is your Let's Make Big Moves 2026 champion. The gods are still here, but the throne has never been easier to challenge.